Today we're going to be installing the new updated AirDog in-tank fuel pump module upgrade kit for the quick connect hoses from AirDog. And I really wanted to go over the fuel module with the in-tank pump, and this is on the 98 trucks to current. If they've had the module upgrade done, or if it's an 05 or later truck, this is exactly what you're going to see. When you pull it out of the tank, there may be different variations to it from different suppliers, just depending on where you get it from, but they're all going to be basically the same. The basics of the canister, we have so many questions on this. This is probably one of the biggest tech calls that we get. You know, some of the basics of the canister, we'll start up top here. The pressure side is always the larger of the two. Smaller of the two lines here, those are both quick connects. That's your return side. Then you've got in the middle there, you've got your electrical portion that hooks up for your fuel level sensor and actually the power to the pump. And then a fuel vent here. This gray tower is a fuel vent. And then this is an unused port, and we're actually going to use it back, and I'll get into more of that. The pump itself is down here in the fuel bowl in the canister. This is it. It is held by 3 black tabs. You can see those through the canister there. And we're actually, to remove this pump, we're going to remove this pump out of the tank to give us, more volume to the canister, more fuel volume there to the canister to draw from. We're actually just going to cut these black plastic tabs to get the pump out of there, and that'll allow the pump to come out. Now this module has some spring to it. When it goes into the fuel tank, it actually compresses. When you put it into the tank, you actually compress it and then put your locking ring back on to it. So you have flex between the top of the canister and here at the T-block, and then it's rigid from the bottom of this T into the canister. Now that's just a basic operation of how this operates. Fuel pumps out of the pump, to the pressure side. That's just kind of a basic operation of the fuel module. There's ways to modify this module. If you put a stock lift pump on the truck and find out that you've got the pump in the tank, and what do? It's the weekend. How am I going to get my truck up and running? You can modify this canister. We're going to get into that at the end of this video after we've actually done this install. But at first I wanted to give everybody a really good look at this fuel module. And now we're going to get started installing the AirDog in-tank module upgrade. Okay, to start our installation of the in-tank fuel module upgrade kit, what we've done first is we have removed the pump from the canister. And here's a shot of the canister with the fuel pump removed. All that you need to do that is disconnect the wiring to it, cut these black plastic tabs away. There's 3 of them there. Cut those away, then simply lift the pump out. Here's a shot of the pump. It's pretty dirty. It goes to something to be said for fuel quality here, folks. And I'm also going to take just a minute to talk about this canister for the guys that have found out that they had an in-tank fuel module and they mounted a pump up on the block, can't get any fuel to it. They call in here all the time. How can I modify this and and get my truck up and running? I've got to get my truck up and running now. So here's going to be a quick crash course as to how you do that. Cut and remove the fuel pump out of the canister just like normal. No problems there. Here, there's a T-block here for the pressure side. What you'll need to do is remove the cap from the T-block, and inside there you'll find a check valve. That check valve is nothing more than this little piece of plastic, and it is down inside of the barrel of this canister. When we were talking about doing the in-tank upgrade, if you do not get the in-tank module, if you're on the side of the road, you need to get this going real quick. We talked about taking this baffle out of here, and one thing I forgot to tell you is you actually have to cut this spring check ball out of here as well. This the closure valve. Once you get that out of there, you will have a no restriction pickup here that will help to get you up and running. The spring assembly, everything attached. Once you remove it, and you can put the assembly back together, snap it back together, and that'll give you a no restriction way of supply to draw out of this module. All you would need to do here is simply attach a piece of fuel grade hose, take it into the bottom of the canister, cut it, you know, eighth of an inch off the bottom of the canister, and you're up and going. Apply a vacuum to the suction side, make sure you still have no restrictions, and that'll get you up and going. And now, as far as back to our install, now what we're going to do is we're going to find a surface on the top of the module to begin mounting our bulkhead fitting, and we're actually going to start here with the unused vent hole that is already on the canister. It just has a rubber plug over top of it, and what we'll do is we'll remove the rubber plug and we're going to actually drill our bulkhead fitting in here. The reason why we're going to use this surface is because in these combs and in these channels here, you can ball mill this and get yourself a flat surface wherever you feel like putting your bulkhead fitting at. But we're going to use this right here because it's already milled out. We're going to drill right straight through here with a 5/8 drill bit, and we're going to mount our bulkhead fitting right there. It's going to give us good flat surface. And when you're thinking about this, where to put your bulkhead fitting, all you want to think about is you want to think about your locking ring that has to go back on here and how your hose is going to be oriented when you have this done. So you want to take your time here and make sure, hey, I'm not getting this in a, you know, a restriction of I can't get my quick connect hooked up because of the electrical portion here on the canister, or it's going to hit in here, or you know, just take your time and think, and you won't have any problems. So we're gonna drill this out and mount our bulkhead fitting. We've got our bulkhead fitting assembled here. Use Teflon tape on the quick connect end to the bulkhead fitting. This O-ring right here is your sealer that is going to keep fuel from splashing out of the hole that you've drilled. It goes right here on the bulkhead fitting. Now, like I said, these kits have been changing here lately, so don't take this as textbook, but as of right now, this is current. So the 5/8 hole we've got here, we've got a good flat surface. We made sure on the bottom side of it we've had a flat surface. We actually hit it with a little bit of emery cloth to get everything in check here. So we're going to set our bulkhead fitting where we want it, put our nut and our Teflon lock washer or Teflon lock nut on the bottom, and tighten it down. Okay. We have installed our suction line now. This is, again, I'm not going to go over exactly what's in this kit because I feel like the kits are changing a lot. They come up with a new update and a new idea. So you get a piece of corrugated fuel grade hose that comes with this. There's also a piece of nylon rigid tube also, and this small mounting frame. So what we did here was we mounted the frame to the canister exactly as the directions call for, and then the nylon tube into the bottom of the canister, connected the corrugated hose here to the nylon tube, and they sent spring clips with this kit. We didn't use those. We actually used a small radiator style clamp and tightened both of these up to make sure that we didn't have any leaks. Now, this is installed, your nylon tube is against the bottom of the canister, and one of the first things that we want to do, because we're almost done here, we're getting ready to install the kit, we want to compress this as it's, you know, as the way it's going to be going into the tank. Compress it and make sure that this isn't going to have any adverse effect on our tube. Our tube's not going to fly up, go against the, you know, an inch off the bottom of the canister or anything like that. So this looks good. We actually found a small peg down here that we kind of pegged this against. You can see it there. We're pegging this against that, and as you compress this, this stays perfectly still. No problems with it flying out or anything like that. The last step on our install on this is we're going to drill 1 1/2-inch hole a couple inches from the bottom. This will allow fuel to enter the basket. If the pump were to overwhelm the basket, it'll aid and get the fuel in here. So that's our AirDog in-tank module upgrade, quick connect. And if you need anything, just let us know. If we've got any questions, we'll be glad to go over it with you. Thank you.